Hello, welcome back to another live stream. Today's Friday, the 23rd of January. We were live last night. We're live again today. We're going to be live again next Thursday and next Friday. So do come along. Obviously, we are using the Edgepool platform. Let's start by looking at the chart, see where we are. This is today's price action for SPY, so the 5-minute chart. Market open was there. In fact, I don't know why I'm doing that. We could put on market sessions. This is the session that we have for the day. Kind of trading in the middle of the session. So obviously the blue box would be the session if you didn't get that already. So yeah, kind of trading in the middle there. So but before we get into the details of this one, make sure you do subscribe to me on YouTube. And of course, follow on X as well at SeanTrades_. My light just got brighter. Didn't even touch it. So go ahead and follow me there and subscribe, etc. Sweet. And then, of course, you can get the Edgepool platform details there on edgepool.com, finding your edge in the market there. Alternatively, you can go down in the description down below. On YouTube, you'll see a link there, which you'll get a 7-day free trial up until February. So you've got a week to do that. So go ahead and get involved. And I will just add it to the stream that we have today here on X in the comment section, of which I have just done. So yeah, find your edge in the market there. So today we're going to be looking obviously at the power hour breakout report. I have had a quick scan a little while ago, and of course, wow, Intel is down 18%. Whoa. Briefly covered that last night, didn't we? 18%. That is crazy. Where does that put the stock now? Stick on the daily chart. Yeah, that's a big drop. In the grand scheme of things, though, not that massive. But of course, if you do kind of dribble down, you know, somewhere here might be nice for the future if you believe in Intel. Anyway, that's not why we're here. We are here for, scanning first. So first of all, I scanned all of the charts. So you can see on the screen here, we've got SPY. It's in the middle of the high of the day and the low of the day, represented by the green and the red line, respectively. We'll go down and we can see Apple. It's nearish the highs, but not quite. Then we've got Amazon, more near the highs, but not at the highs. Perhaps maybe on the turn of the hour, that would have been a nice trade, just because you've got the trend line there as well coming through. It would have been a tricky one to get into because it would have looked like it was kind of breaking out. So perhaps an entry at the close of the candle would have been a nice one. And of course, your stop loss would be above the high of the day. But of course, you'd have to look at the Edgepool data before doing that. But anyway, we continue with our scan. Barber kind of sitting towards the lower end of the middle, but nowhere near the lows or the highs. Google near the lows. So there is potential there because we've got a bit of a double bounce here. You could set a buy limit for this sort of area, just for, you know, a higher low sort of situation, and then have a stop loss just here, and that would be a very small minor loss if it was just a punch out. A bit risky, you know, you don't have much else on the screen to kind of go by apart from obviously a bit of support here and resistance. You've got that, basically got that line there. I wonder if there's any previous. No, not quite. So kind of breaking back down below the kind of yesterday's low. So I probably wouldn't use that as a confluence. Moving on then, go down to Netflix. Near the highs of the day, but not quite at the highs of the day. Nvidia near the lows of the day. So this is actually quite interesting. Okay, so this is actually very interesting. I don't know where this line has come from. I'll have a look at that on a bigger time frame in a minute. But of course, lots of support kind of here at the moment. So you could actually, you know, get in here-ish, nothing perfect, and obviously aim for the trend line. So let's draw that out. Long position I'm not saying I'm doing this. This is just hypothetical at this stage. So that's the potential there. So what then we would do is go into Edgeful platform here. We'd open up the sidebar, which you can see all of the titles here, and we go to reports. And then because I've got saved on the right hand side, I've got obviously all the bookmarks here. So I'm going to go to Power Hour Breakout Report, and I'm going to scroll down. You can't see. I might have to move me back over to the left actually. I thought it'd be better over here, but maybe not. But yeah, we can go down to the bottom here and click on NVIDIA. And what that will do is it bring up the data for every day in the last 6 months. And you can see that there is a 13.39% chance that the stock makes new highs or new lows. So exactly the same percentage, which never happens. And so there's a 13% chance it goes down below this line. But what we can do to kind of really improve that data is to go from sub-report here, from standard to weekday. And what that does, that filters out all of the Fridays in the last 6 months. And you can see that the percentage is even lower. So that's good. That works in our favor. So our stop loss will be down below here. There's 11% chance that it will get to this level here. In terms of entry, that's kind of up to you. But we do obviously, as I mentioned, we have the support line here for NVIDIA. So you could in effect kind of enter this sort of area and have your stop loss down here because there's 11% chance of getting there. I understand there's probably about 20 minutes left of the market, but that's the nature of this this strategy. It's a bit of a scalpy strategy. Okay, let's move out to the 1 hour chart. I'm about to sneeze. No, I'm not. Okay. I thought I was going to sneeze. Take these lines off for now. So this trend line's actually massive. Yes, that's the bigger time frame. Trying to break out but not quite making it. If it does break out, that'd be fantastic. So this is a potential trade for us this evening. Turn on the power hour breakout indicator once again. The only thing that's it's not the best risk to reward. So 1.51, which is not too bad for a scalp, but you know, there's better ones to be had. But in terms of management within this trade, obviously, if it was to make a move up to kind of this trend line here once again, you would obviously bring the stop loss up to either break even or just below this most recent low. I know that takes out the data out of question, and I understand that. But you do have to kind of manage the trade as it matures. I would be comfortable personally by just leaving the stop loss down here because that's the kind of risk that I'm in taking onto this trade already. You know, hypothetically, of course. We could trade that actually. We'll leave it. Okay, right. So we didn't actually finish our scroll through. Meta, nowhere near the highs, coming down actually to finish the week. Microsoft not near the highs either, and lastly Tesla kind of in the middle as well. So the only one we kind of got going for us is actually NVIDIA, and I think we had a little look at what was it? Is that Amazon, wasn't it? But that's kind of been and gone now. So. But this would have actually been potentially really nice, the Amazon trade. And let me explain why. So we've got our trend line coming down from pretty much the early parts of the day after the big nice run up that we've had. A bit of a dribble down, and then obviously we have rejected off of that in the turn of the power hour. So you'd probably enter this sort of area, a short position, with your stop loss just above the highs of the day, because that's where the data would lie. Of course, we need to check the data. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's jump into, we're already on the power hour breakout report. We need to go to Amazon. We need to know the chances of they're going to be a new high of the day. As I mentioned before, the sub report is done by a weekday, but that's already there, so that's great. So there's a 15% chance there'll be a new high of day. So there's a 15% chance that's going to get back above this line. So you can, you know, that stop loss is a nice stop loss. The entry is a bit far away from it, I must admit, and that's probably why I wouldn't have taken this. But your target price could be somewhere down here. So you've got lots of support with these candles that have been produced earlier on in the day. But I think the real money is kind of breaking this trend line. So if you were going to get into this, or if you had got into this potentially, you'd be waiting for this breakdown. Typically kind of goes against my normal trading strategy, but that's more towards swing trading. But yeah, let's have a look at the Nvidia one. So it's actually getting a bit of upside. That's good. See if we can get back to the top of this trend line by the end of the day, and that would be, potentially a very good, very nice trade. But yeah, what are we watching? What stocks are you looking at the moment? Long or short term. Happy to have my input there. Let's have a little look around what's going on. So these are my stocks that you can see here. These are the ones I'm interested in, or keep an eye on. Not so much interested in, but I've just got to keep an eye on them. Right, so Netflix up almost 3%. Still kind of recovering after its earnings report on Tuesday. Amazon up 2%, which would be nice to see. Nvidia really wants to push out there. I think that might come in the next few trading days. That would be good to see. Grab up, Snap basically flat. Tesla basically flat as well after a really nice couple of days, kind of pushing back up from that trend line. I think we can make a good move for the rest of the year, I think, for Tesla. And I'm really excited about my position there. Swing trading position, of course. Enphase, after a really good day yesterday, naturally kind of calming down a bit today. I think that's normal. We do have a lot of resistance at this sort of area. Support, sorry. So it might be natural to come down to that kind of 39 level before it makes another move higher. Keep that on the chart for now. Down to Barber. Really nice day yesterday. Maybe just a bit of a cool down today. NIO, of course, down almost 3% on the day. Rivian, this is not good for Rivian. At least short term. I still think it could have a really good year. But yeah, we've got a really nice candle here. So I need to see a bit of reaction around 16 or wherever it is now. 15.79. Need to see a reaction around here. Otherwise, we could be coming back down to 14, which I don't mind. I'll pick up more shares for the long term. Don't mind that at all. Nice and cheap. So yeah, that's Rivian. Move on to HIMS. Like we said yesterday, kind of that 27 level will be of interest for me. Maybe some long-term leaps potentially, but you never know with the market it's in. Could always be lots of competitors. The word I was trying to say there, competitors, etc. Still, revenue machines, to be fair, they do produce quite a lot of revenue from quarter to quarter. It's good to see. Lucid, still just dribbling down. So they're the stocks that we look at for the time being. Let's go back to the normal ones. Here we go. No, I'm on the wrong chart. Yes. This one here. Okay. Nvidia, we're basically waiting for this move to kind of play out. That's what day trading is sometimes, you just wait for the move. Chill out. What's your favorite instrument to trade with? Let's put that in there. There you go. There's a question. Straight in. So just a reminder for this one, Nvidia trade that we're in here now is, we go back to Nvidia, we're currently on Amazon. And we can see there's 11.5% chance that it will go down below this red line. which works in our favor. I mentioned, of course, bring up the stop loss. You can bring up the stop loss, kind of make it nice and tight, but of course you lose the data backed situation there. So for me, I would normally just keep it just below the lows. Makes sense to me, at least until the very end. If it gets to 9 o'clock here in the UK, but 4 o'clock where you are on the East Coast, that's obviously when the market closes, and that's when the data ends. So you can't carry it through the weekend. You can't. Well, you can, but that's not where the trade. That's not where the data back trade comes from. So you need to be careful with that. But you can just bring your stop loss up really nice and tight in the last kind of 2-3 minutes, and then it will kind of trigger out. Or obviously just close it with a few seconds left of the market being open. That would be my approach, of course. Not everyone's approach, but that would be mine. I like how it's consolidating here just before the trend line. Let's zoom out here on the. Let's go to the 30-minute perhaps. These vertical lines are really annoying, but you can kind of see what's going on. This is the trend line coming down on the daily time frame, so we're really nice and tight with that. That's exciting. And we get a bit of a push out before the end of the day. Imagine that. Just a little candle poking out here by the end of the day. That would be really nice to see. People getting in their call options for next Friday. I wonder what that would be like. Let's have a look. So next, what are we on? 23rd, 30th of January. Buy, call. What are we on? 187. 200 calls. 32 cents, not bad. Of course, okay, so 200. What's that in percentage wise? Oh, it should tell me. 6%, that can't be right. It is, yeah, 6%. Nvidia can easily do that in a week. A risk, but that's a good risk. Those specific calls are actually up 30% today. A bit conservative, you can go 195. Cool. $1.06. 3 times the price. Might do that actually. Might just do that. Video pushing into the close a little bit. One thing I do recommend when you sign up to Edgeful, as I mentioned, you get a 7-day free trial before February. So make sure you go ahead and click the link for that down in the description and obviously on X. But yeah, one of the things I recommend you do is have a look at all these videos. I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit better. Ultimate bullish setup, the ultimate reversal setup here, that's chapter 1. Again, you can see 11 and 9 minutes. So both of those are only 20 minutes. I think the whole lot is under 2 hours. How to use sessions, how Edgeful reports work, how to use a screener, how to use watch and play, and Edgeval algos as well. All again, very short videos for you to kind of intake. Watch them once, watch them twice, to kind of really get them ingrained into you. Why is Edgeval essential and how to adapt to changing markets? Two very important videos, I think. And how to access the TradingView indicators. Of course, here on TradingView, the indicators that you see. So this one is the power hour breakout indicator that's done by Edgeval. So it's not just a made-up indicator. Well, it is, but it's made up by Edgeval. But you can see that on the left side there, just about power hour breakout report, power hour breakout indicator. Market sessions is one of them. Previous days range is one of them, and initial balance breakout is one of them as well. We'll go through in detail maybe next week on the initial balance breakout. I think they have enhanced it slightly, so you can have way more detail. But I need to look into that before I make a video on that, or talk about it. But how to get them is very, very simple. Of course, when you sign up for Edgeval, you had to put in your TradingView username, and then you go to indicators, go to invite only, and then they're all here for you, loads of them. All fully customizable, pretty much. You can change the colors and stuff. So I can change the colors of the highs here and the lows. At the moment, it kind of makes sense with green and red, of course, because that's kind of the standard colors for the market. I might make them a bit brighter, perhaps, so maybe you can see it a bit clearer. But yeah, that's that in a nutshell. And of course, the how to access the Discord as well. So it's not hard. You just kind of basically join a group, and you're in the Discord there. And they obviously have all of the resources you need, and of course, people live, actual people that use the platform day in, day out, and their experiences and their wins, their losses, all shared nice and neatly in a packaged Discord server, which I know people love. We used to have one back in the day, but not anymore. Not for me personally. Not running one anyway. I like to join them, but I don't like to run them. But yeah, we've got a bit of a drop down here now in the video. Come back down to a kind of in price. Still got what, 7 minutes left of the market, something like that. Yeah. See what SPY is doing. SPY is dropping a bit after a good 15 minutes. This last 3 minutes has resulted in this kind of drop down here. This is, if you don't know, this blue line is actually the VWAP, but related to the market sessions, which is really good. I don't know really how to use it just yet, but you can see it's kind of used as a bit of a base, and I quite like that. But yeah, they're very customizable in the market sessions. Of course, you've got New York here. You have middle, open, close, VWAP. Open close is the dotted line from the open to wherever we are. So if I turn that on, you see that line has just appeared. There you go. And that's obviously from the market open to where we are now. And you have the middle line, which is obviously just the middle of the session, which we don't really need. And of course the VWAP there as well. Just there. I like the open to close one, because then you can really see where it's opened from. Right, let's go back to our NVIDIA trade. Of course, if it doesn't hit the target price, which it may not, always cut the position before market close. I know we touched on that a little bit earlier on, but I really want to accentuate that, of course, especially with these stocks on a Friday night. And we never know what Donald Trump is going to say to move the markets. Well, he doesn't say he moves the markets, but he does. But yeah, never know what he's going to say. So you can't really hold positions over the weekend. I never do. Swings, obviously, it's different because your risk allocation is slightly lower. Your leverage is slightly lower. At least it is for me. So it's a bit easier to kind of hold swing trades over the weekend. But day trades, no. I've been down that road a long time ago now, but I've been down that road, and that's not a nice road to be down. It can be if you get lucky, of course, but that's gambling, isn't it? No point in doing that. A bit of a push into the close now from Nvidia, so the trade's looking pretty nice. We're currently sitting at a gain of 0.235%. Not bad at all. And this is the data here, of course. We did mention the 13. Nope. Need to go by weekday first. Obviously, we did mention the 11.5% on both actually on the Fridays in the last 6 months, but you had them represented here on the right side as well, which I think is interesting. It depends how you take in data. For me, I take in it very visually. So I look at this chart on the left and I think, okay, I've got the idea. But some people might see, okay, this is the amount of days that I've had in the last 6 months. And you can see the results of the new low of day not made 23, same new high of day. It's weird how it's matched. It's exactly the same. It's quite funny. But you can see the kind of the actual results there in front of you, which you can really do. What is my broker? My broker is, I use MetaTrader 5 for my prop firm accounts, and then my normal one I use Trading 212, which I think is obviously available in the UK where I am, but I think it's European as well. I don't think it's in the States. And I use Robinhood as well for options trading, but I use that very lightly, not much at all. Thank you for the question, though. Be sure to come back every Thursday and Friday, or at least the next couple of Thursdays and Fridays. Sometimes my schedule does change a bit, but I always give enough. What's the word? When you think you give a head, I can't even think of the word. Awareness. I do something like that. I always give enough awareness for when I'm going live. So yeah. If you do get confused about that, make sure you subscribe on YouTube and obviously follow on X, as I've said a few times. But yeah, let's have a look at Nvidia. It's on the closing. We've got a couple of minutes left now. So yeah, here we go. Looking pretty good going into the close here. Really nice. Very small, which I didn't actually realize. Kind of a bit of a small trend line retest here and bounce. You could have drawn it maybe here as well. But the highs there coming back down, and that's the retest happening just there. See a couple of technical indicators that have kind of come in the last 20 minutes or so. So barring any, in this situation, you've got what, 1 minute left. You could just bring the stop loss up to break even, and that way, even if it does punch down, you just know you haven't lost any money. So I think that could be important for people to hear, depending on what your risk profile is like. Got any tips for passing a funded account? Yes. Don't rush it. I lost my first 3 or 4 accounts just because I was trying to rush it, trying to get through the stages, trying to get to that funded status immediately, and then I can start making real money. But that's not the mentality you should have. The mentality you should have is take your time, trade as you would normally trade, and then just have to be patient, and then you get into the funded account, and then you start making real money. Then it's about keeping that funded account, because that's a whole different ballgame in terms of emotional feelings. I've lost a funded account. I'll be open about it, of course. 2 actually, I think. Yeah, 2. Not nice feeling, but it's how it goes. You have to keep battling forward and keep learning and keep growing. So we'll be on 10 seconds left. So I would close the trade here if I hadn't already. So let's say that's the trade. 0.224%. Leveraged, probably, I don't know what kind of leverage you use, maybe 30 to 1. That's 15%, so that's not bad. Yeah, that's the market close. That's that. Let's see how other stocks finished. Start by going for the SPY. smack bang in the middle. Of course, it's still moving because this is the futures version. Apple, bit of a drop at the end there. Amazon, again, a bit of a drop in the end there. That trade actually worked out quite nicely. That was a hypothetical situation. Bit of a big stop loss, as we mentioned earlier on in the stream, which is why I didn't want to go into too much detail on it, but that is a possibility. So yeah, we'll get rid of that. Oh, excuse me. Scroll out to Barber, not much happened there. Google, right at the base there, but not enough time to kind of make a move off of that. So maybe if there's another hour of the market, that would have been a nice potential trade, especially because you've got the kind of trend line coming down from the day. That's terribly drawn, Sean, like that. So you could, in effect, have a stop loss down below him, and hopefully it kind of punches through there. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Netflix, nice push up into the close to finish the day up just above 3%. Wow. Recovering some of its losses in the last couple of the days after the earnings report. I do like Netflix long term. I really do like Netflix long term. I also really like Nvidia long term. We spoke about that already. But a continuous drop into the close for Meta. Couple of nasty candles kind of going into the close there for Microsoft. And Tesla getting a bit of a push into the close. Look at that. Not a huge push, but a push nonetheless. Yeah, I hope we did cover quite a lot actually tonight. I haven't stopped talking, I don't think, for half an hour. So I'm going to go and rest my voice. Enjoy the weekend. And of course, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to me on YouTube at SeanTrades_. Same on X as well. Follow at SeanTrades_. And of course, you can get all of the details for Edgepool at edgepool.com. You can follow my link in the X post of the X live stream that we're on now. It's a free 7-day free trial, which will last until the end of January. So go ahead and get into that quickly before you don't get a free trial. I'm sure to do other incentives down the line, but of course for now it's going to be a 7-day free trial until the end of January. And it's on YouTube as well. So I can't remember if I mentioned that. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great weekend. Trade safe next week. Of course, don't trade over the weekend. Take that time to learn, recover, grow, build, etc. And yeah, take care, everyone. See you in the next stream.